Hello, today we are going to talk about the book The Clean Code by Robert C. Martin. Well, this book is a practical guide for writing clean and easy to understand code in software development. In the world of software development, writing quality code is important to achieve efficient, scalable, and easy to maintain software. Clean code is characterized by being easy to read, maintain, and modify. In this book, Robert C. Martin, one of the leading experts in the programming world, presents us with a series of principles, patterns, and practices that will help you write clean code. It is a guide for developers focused on improving their programming skills and writing clean, readable, and efficient code. The goal is to improve the quality of the code, reducing reduce the number of errors and improve efficiency of the development team. So, in my opinion, I have been able to summarize the book in three parts, which are the importance of clean code, principles and practice of the clean code, and techniques for keeping your code clean. So, let's begin. To be clear, code is fundamental to quality software development. Clean code is easy to read, maintain, and modify. Clean code improves the quality of software and the efficiency of the developer team. Writing clean code is a process that takes time, but in the long run, it's worth of effort. Be following by following the practices presented in this book, clean code developers can improve the quality of the code and reduce the number of errors. In addition, clean code has the advantage of improving the efficiency of the development team. When code is clear, it is easy to understand and modify by other team members. This translates in faster, more efficient work without wasting time trying to understand the code. Clean code also improves the maintainability of software. When software is easy to maintain and update, changes can be made without introducing new errors or causing problems in other parts of systems. And summarize, clean code is essential for quality software development. By following the principles of the clean code book, development can improve the quality of software and the efficiency of development times. Of course, in the second part, the give the goal is to give in an idea of what the topic represents. So, an example is, imagine you are building in a house. If it is messy, you never know where is everything. If everything is in its place, if everything is in its place, and there are no necessary things hiding among so much mess, so you will be able to find what you need more easily. The same thing happens with clean code. If the code is confusing and hard to understand, it is difficult to understand and track the errors. If the code is clean and organized, it will be easier to understand and modify. So how can you try clean code? Well, the book Clean Code gives you a couple of tips. The first step is main field names. Give things names that make sense. If you use clean meaningful names, it will be easy to understand what each function or variable does. The second tip that it's heavily emphasized is short functions. That is, don't do everything in one function. It is better for your function to do one thing and be short. It, this way it's easier to understand what each function does and not have to navigate through a spaghetti code to make small challenges. This is intended to improve analysis time based or better results? Uh, the third tip is useful comments. Comments can be useful, but don't overuse them. Comments should explain as concretely as possible why something was done in certain way. Know how the code works. The purpose is that if the code is clear, you will need main comments. The fourth tip is avoid duplication. Avoid copying and pasting the same code in different parts of the program. It's about using result function and classes to avoid duplication code, reducing errors under the idea of less is more. Finally, the fifth tip is to automate testing. Automate testing are like the smoke detector in houses. They are already you they alert you when something is wrong before it becomes a huge problem. If you have automated tests, errors can be detected early and fixed to avoid them becoming an even bigger problem. Techniques for keeping your code. So, in the third part, we're going to talk about the techniques for keeping your code clean. So, in the third section of the book, Clean Code by Robert C. Martin, focus is, is focused on the same patterns that can help programmers solving common programming problems. The patterns are proven techniques for addressing software design issues and improving code quality maintainability. For example, one of the design patterns in the section is the single responsibility principle, SRP, which states that each class or module should have a single responsibility in the system. This means that each module or class should have only one reason to change, reducing code complexity and making it easy to understand and maintain. Another interesting pattern is the open-close principle, OCP, which states that a module should be open for extension but closed for modification. This means that change to existing code should be avoided as much as possible, and instead extensions should be used to add new functionality. There is so there is also the dependency inversion principles, which states that high-level models shall not depend on low-level models. Instead, high-level models shall depend on abstraction, and low-level models shall depend on the same abstractions. Other distinct patterns include the factory pattern, which is a way of certain objects, how without specifying the exact class of objects that will be created instead of creating objects directly using the new operator of factory class I use. The adapter pattern creates an adapter class that grabs the existing class and provides the new required interface rather than modify the existing code. The composition pattern allows objects to composite in a tree structure to represent objects hierarchies. hierarchies. Finally, the curve pattern allows objects to repeat in other objects that add additional functionality. This is useful when additional features need to be added to an object without modifying its existing behavior. So, in final words, when I started reading this book, some ideas made me raise an eyebrow, dubbing them a bit, so I immediately started to read it with a more critical eye. If the book has main practical tips to improve code quality, it's very easy to read, which surprising me quite a bit since I expected a heavy read with too many technical terms. I'll focus on maintenance It maintains scalability and clarity when developing. On the other hand, I think that my tips might be subjective and might not be applicable to all situations. For example, the book tends to focus on objects-oriented programming and might not be suitable for developers who work with other programming paradigms. Also, it's mainly focused on writing code and does not focus enough on topics related to software architecture or system design. I would have liked it to delve deeper in how to approach cases of fierce interaction with complex code since it has been one of my health checks in development. Hate, hate hatches, sorry. In general, there are topics that I have loved, such as when it others concepts like test drive development, and examples that have been difficult for me not to compare with cases that I have experienced. In summarize, the book has very good advice and contributes a lot of the good development practices that improve times, increase efficiency, facilitate work, and reduce unnecessary work. But even so, I think it's a good idea to complement it with other sources. So, thank you very much for your time. That was the summary of a great of the book, The Clay Code. Thank you very much.